Welcome back, J&J Fantasy Flyers. I'm Joey.
And I'm Jason, and we're helping you soar above the competition.
Soar above the competition. Hopefully your Week 3 matchups were better than my father's when he had to run into probably the worst shellacking that I've ever seen against me. What was the final score on that? 175 to 63?
That's something like that. That's not even right.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. It was a long Sunday in my household, that's for sure. I'll tell you what, it felt good though, Jay. Felt good.
I would have locked you out of the house personally, but
He thought about it. I had no the spare key. I mean, hey, what can I tell you? He should have maybe listened to J&J Fantasy Flyers and helped out with that lineup a little bit more. Even though putting on 175, that's a tough number.
that's a tough score to beat, regardless of who you got.
Absolutely. How'd you do in your Week 3 matchups?
I did good. I lost some, won some. So overall, not too bad.
I'll tell you what, man, Terrell Pryor's killing me. I really thought that he was going to have a good game against Oakland. Everybody in Washington did but Pryor. And I mean, man, if he gets going, my lineups are going to take the next level.
I thought this was his put up or shut up week, and he didn't put up.
Yeah,
so,
he shut up, that's for sure.
Maybe give him a few more weeks so you can get that chemistry worked out with Cousins and go from there, man. But I don't know. It's a tough call.
Absolutely.
I feel this. I can get into it later, I guess, but I got a guy too that's been killing me everywhere. So
yeah, it happens. I mean, nobody would have expected that Chris Thompson would be the number 3 overall running back in fantasy football after Week 3.
Numero 3,
which is crazy.
Yes.
And I'll tell you another thing. Just this guy I work with, he was bragging. He was all, my team's this, my team's that, my team's awesome, this and that. I'm like, dude, no, it's not. You don't listen to J&J, so obviously it's not that great.
Can't be that good.
But he hit Tom Brady. He put up 50 points.
So he won, right?
No, he lost.
No.
He lost.
No, he didn't lose to Tom Brady.
He lost, man. And to be honest with you, I think he only scored maybe 118 points with Tom Brady. And it wasn't good. So basically, told him to tune in this week and we'll help him out. And, obviously he's pretty good at quarterback, Jay, but for the guy that doesn't have, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, give me a guy inside the top 10.
Yeah. The guy I'm picking out of our top 10 this week to talk about is Carson Palmer.
Bruce Arians did say he's slinging the ball around pretty good.
He did. He's balling out. So and I think the week 1 is really kind of lingering in people's minds, where he had that real bad week 1 against the Lions. Other than that, his week 2 he had 22 points, and then again last week 25. They're playing the 49ers at home this week. He should easily, put up at least 250 and give you 1 or 2 touchdowns, which is a solid week. Carson Palmer's going to start figuring it out. He started slow last year, and they adjusted his practice schedule, and he came on really strong. Looks like Fitz finally had a good week for himself.
Yeah, definitely.
It's I definitely like Palmer going into this week.
And with David Johnson out, definitely you can see a lot more target shares going around. I think that offense is actually a better offense as it comes to spreading the ball around and for Carson Palmer without David Johnson there.
Absolutely, yeah. Things might be a little harder because, they're not stacking 9 in the box. Well, actually, no, that'd make it easier, I guess.
Yeah, so, there's really no run game to be worried about, but, it's Carson Palmer's team now. The offense doesn't run around David Johnson. I think that makes everybody else step up. And I like Carson Palmer. I think going forward here, the only thing that kind of scares me is he has a real easy schedule in the beginning. Then it gets kind of tougher. But, hey, this week,
but he's played in a tough division the past, since he went to Arizona. That's been one of the toughest defensive divisions in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I hear you. And to be honest with you, Seattle's defense can be had. My guy Marcus Mariota. He put up a good number. Granted, it wasn't Tennessee, and everything with Mariota. I gotta tell you, I love him. As much as anybody else here. But he had some points against Seattle. So even if you go out throughout that division, you got San Francisco, you got the Rams, who Brian Hoyer kind of lit up on Thursday Night Football. There's definitely points to be had. Especially just with game flow on that as well. And I can see Arizona is going to have to throw the ball to stay in some games. But brings me to my guy. Marcus Mariota. you had to know I was talking about him, especially in this matchup. He's going up against Houston. Houston just got torched by Tom Brady. Now, by no means am I saying Marcus Mariota is Tom Brady, but I think Mariota is one of the safest quarterbacks, not named Brady, Breeze, or Rodgers, week in, week out. He has a high ceiling. He can put up points with the best of them, and I think his floor is one of the safest. He's going to get you the rushing yards just in case he doesn't have the best passing yard game. I think his touchdowns are going to be there. The run game is starting to come around. DeMarco Murray's getting a little bit healthier. I like Derrick Henry, the 1-2 punch. Corey Davis is coming back, and I think we're going to see where Marcus Mariota hops in and starts taking the steps that he took last year between weeks 5 and 12. I think he's going to start putting up some 30-point weeks, and I think this is going to be the first week.
30-point weeks, huh?
Yep.
I mean, I like your points. I mean, he gives you that low or the high floor with the rushing yards and the efficiency. He's not going to kill you with a bunch of interceptions.
Yep.
So, I mean, he definitely gives you that good floor.
And Houston's ranked 26th against the passes.
Yeah, I mean, everyone thinks Houston's got this stingy defense, which, yeah, I guess technically they do, but it really hasn't been there this year.
Yeah, I mean, they could be had for points.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you think about it, Houston had the chance to ice the game against Brady. Now, granted, it's Tom Brady, and, he's magic, but still, I mean, there's points to be scored, in that matchup. And I also think another matchup that we're going to go to where there's going to be points to be scored, I think that's New Orleans and Miami and London. I mean, that's a battle of two bad defenses. Take it from me. I'm going to have to take a step back out of my Miami prediction last week because, wow, that was bad.
It was a tough day to be a Dolphins fan, that's for sure.
Especially because Buffalo won. It just made it hurt even more.
It did.
But
it really did.
I think Cutler bounces back. He's going up against New Orleans. They're 19th, New Orleans 31st against quarterbacks. I mean, it's not hard to see Bradford, lit him up as well. I'd say Cutler and Bradford are pretty much close to being the same guy.
Brady lit him up, but
Brady.
Brady's Brady.
But I mean, I watched the press conference with Adam Gase. He's not happy. Cutler said it was a wake-up call. They need to get it together, and they need to get it together now. I know just from the past watching London games, it's basically a home game for Miami. A lot of Dolphins fans out there in London, and I think a lot more of them are going to be Dolphins fans because of Ajayi and his ties back there.
Yeah. So they play there, pretty much every year.
Yeah.
So it's like their second home, like Jacksonville.
Yep. I think we would both agree that Cutler going up against the New Orleans, defense, and even Drew Brees going against Miami. Drew Brees is a must-start anyways.
Yeah.
But
Drew Brees is matchup proof.
Yeah, if you're down there, I mean, I could see Cutler sneaking into the top 10. I think they really turn it around and get more back to their week one, and I could just see, the guys having a good bounce-back team.
It's a solid argument. The Saints definitely, they're not one of the top defenses, so...
Now, I'll tell you what, another guy that kind of intrigues me a little bit is the number 2 quarterback in fantasy football right now. That's the guy you want to talk about, right?
It is, and surprisingly, it's Alex Smith. And, I mean, the guy has been, he's efficient as ever, 0 interceptions, but he's got almost 800 yards and 7 touchdowns already. It's the touchdowns this year that he's getting and the explosive plays that he's putting up this year as well.
And he had a pretty good week last week, and they, only threw 1 pass to Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
I mean, what happens when he gets involved, too?
Exactly. I mean, he's getting the explosive plays from Hill and the running back.
Kareem
Hunt out of the passing game. And, I mean, he's taking those chances that he never really took, but he's taking the right chances. He's still being safe with the ball.
He's still a game manager. He's just putting the ball there. And exactly. I think Mahomes lit a fire under Alex Smith. And, I mean,
absolutely.
I think it's safe to say that Alex Smith has made a case over the first 3 weeks to be in your starting lineup.
If he's still on your waivers, he needs to be on your team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is he needs to be on your team, and I honestly think he could finish the year in the top 10. I believe he will finish in the top 10. I think the top 5 might be shooting a little high, but I mean the potential's there. If he keeps this pace, I mean granted, he's still 100 or was it 100 yard or 100 points behind Tom Brady.
But still, I mean that's the pinnacle. If he finishes, anywhere in the top 10, for where you drafted him or picked him up on the waiver wire,
yeah,
that's going to be a good pickup. Another thing that kind of shocks me, Alex Smith, he's ranked 17th on our rankings. I think we're both a little kind of nervous about what Washington showed.
Yeah.
And going forward, it's kind of like
against Oakland. I mean, they shut down a pretty high-powered offense.
So I'm kind of a little nervous.
It kind of bumps him down, and I mean, as high as I am on Alex Smith and how as good as I think he can be, I think you still have to. Yeah, you still have to be
pump
a
the
little.
brakes.
Yes, exactly. Because I mean, the guy isn't just gonna just change who he is overnight. Now, come next week, if I say going into weeks 5, 6, 7, and he's continuing this pace, then absolutely, I think he's a top. I think you're benching, anybody who's not
Dak Prescott.
Yeah, you're benching anybody who's not named Brady, Breeze, or Rodgers for him.
Maybe even Ryan, but yeah.
And maybe Ryan, yeah.
Oh, but I definitely understand. I mean, Kansas City right now is the number 1 team in football, and I don't think it's close. But I'll tell you what, you got another guy here that shocking the world based on the performance that he put up last year, and he's kind of your deep sleeper here. Which, to be honest with you, I really like. I was high on him coming out of college. You know that from our dynasty discussions that we have had. And I believe he's the 11th ranked quarterback right now in fantasy football.
He is. He's number 11 QB, and it's Jared Goff.
Who?
Jared Goff is the 11th.
Jared Goff.
He's the 11th ranked quarterback.
Quarterback from the Rams that went 0-7 in his first 7 games.
Los Angeles Rams. He's a monster.
He is. He's putting up numbers.
No, I mean, he's not really a monster, but he's doing good. He's kind of got the same stat line as Smith. 2 less touchdowns, 1 more interception, so that puts him 800, 5-1.
And he's looked good. I mean, Sean McVay and that offense.
Sean McVay. I mean, he's not calling your vanilla freaking offense like 8-8 Jeff Fisher did.
And Gurley, man.
And Gurley, they upgraded the offensive line from bad to average. And that average offensive line is all they need for Gurley to do what Gurley does best, and that just opens everything up for Jared Goff.
And Gurley came out and said in his post-game conference that we're going to put it on them boys and the Cowboys. So they got to back that up, and I think a lot of that comes down to Jared Goff.
Absolutely. It's where was I going with this? Yeah. I mean, Todd Gurley, he got the running game going, and it's really opened things up for Goff. And now he finally found Sammy Watkins.
Yeah. All the weapons. Robert Woods looks tough.
Yeah.
Watkins and Cooper Kupp, arguably the best slot guy in the business.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual number 3 target on the team.
I got Watkins coming up in my wide receivers just to give you a little insight in today's show. But I feel like he's hitting him now, and he's like, wow, this guy's pretty good. Maybe I should throw the ball a little more.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's gonna take off from there with that relationship.
And I think Jared Goff's somebody that you get excited about too.
I mean, he was the number 1 overall pick.
Number 1 overall.
I mean,
I stood on tape for him last year.
Yeah,
it didn't look good, but I think he's one of them guys to where
I would feel Jake Locker.
I would feel that's the inside joke. I loved Jake Locker back in the day. That is for sure, and he still brings it up. So thank God Dynasty wasn't around back then because I would have had him.
You'd still have him.
But yeah, I mean Jared Goff, man. I think he's safe to be your quarterback too. If you have like a Rodgers, Breeze, or Brady, I think if you pick up Goff for your number 2, and let's say maybe you had Alex Smith or maybe you had a Jay Cutler or somebody like that, trade him away. Get yourself another wide receiver.
I mean, even if you don't have one of those guys, say you're sitting on a,
Cam Newton. What if you got Cam Newton?
I think Cam Newton is on your bench.
Would you start Jared Goff over Cam Newton?
I'm starting Jared Goff over Cam Newton every week as of right now.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I still like Cam. That's why he's a little bit higher on our rankings.
But I mean, if Cam's. I really don't care for Cam anymore going into the rest of the year.
And
he shows me he can do it. I mean, he didn't put up anything against one of the worst defenses in the league.
Absolutely.
But not to dwell on Cam, but if you have one of those,
elite.
No, I mean 7 to 12 quarterback range. Even a Palmer,
Dak Prescott, Mariota.
Yeah, one of those guys. I think Goff is the perfect guy to have on your team and just play the matchups.
Uptick in Dynasty, too. Right now,
oh, yeah.
I mean, you might. The secret's out on Goff. I don't think that you're going to be able to sell or buy low anymore.
I think you still might be able to.
If he has a bad week.
I don't think too many people are turned on to what exactly is going on. You know, I don't think they realize that, you know, how good he's been.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe they don't believe in him yet either, you know. So you might still be able to buy on him if you can. And I don't know what you're giving up for him at this point, but
still, I mean, he's there. I mean, to be honest with you, he's our 24th ranked quarterback. If you're down this far, going against the Cowboys defense, there's points to be had.
I mean, the Cowboys defense is definitely beatable, and it's the same thing as we talk about. We try to pick these guys. It's so hard to bump these guys we like up in the rankings because, you know, you gotta count what they did before in the past. I mean, you can't jump into week 3 in the season.
Just don't dive into the upside.
Exactly.
You gotta pump the brakes a little bit.
You can't jump in week 3 of the season. Oh, this guy's number 11. He should be ranked higher. Yeah, and no.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. No, I understand. And to be honest with you, that brings me to my guy who's a spot lower, 25th. And I'm just gonna put my head down and say it because it's Blake Bortles. I would have never thought that I was talking about Blake Bortles, but we both agreed that the Ravens defense is no joke.
Did they even get on the plane to go to
I'm
London?
not sure if they got the memo that they were playing in London.
Yeah, I think they were all in Baltimore. Like, where the hell is everyone else?
Yeah, or in Jacksonville, because
or somewhere. Yeah.
Blake Bortles tore them apart. I mean, he put up 38 fantasy
He
points.
actually looked good.
Yeah, I mean it was the Blake Bortles that was drafted, you know, that high. But man, I was shocked, and I mean, he's going up against the New York Jets. There's going to be points to be had in that secondary. They're 19th against the quarterback position. And right now, Blake Bortles is in the top 12 of fantasy, you know, quarterbacks. When it comes to points, he's right behind Jared Goff. And I think if you're this low, I mean, and let's say you don't have a shot at Goff, there's a good chance of Blake Bortles still on the waiver wire.
And not for nothing, the, you know, horrible year he had last year, he finishes a number 12 quarterback.
Absolutely.
I mean, because of garbage time and just pure, you know, volume.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at least this year, if he can keep being a little more efficient from it than he was last year, I think he's...
And this year, what I like that Bortles has that I don't think he's had before...
It's a run game.
And that's a running game. And that's right where I'm going with Leonard Fournette. They're playing the Jets. You know, common theme here. Playing the Jets, get him in your lineup. Volume. He has 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks.
So let me ask you, how do you feel about... Obviously, you picked Bortles and Fournette playing against the Jets. How do you feel about them playing against the Jets after how Miami performed against them? Is that more of a Miami thing, or is that something to really be concerning about the Jets? Because going into this year, the Jets didn't necessarily have a bad defense.
No, I think I'm more kind of concerned. The Miami game, I just think it was a lot of travel. I'm not making excuses, but there was a lot going on with Miami and their team, and I really think that they overlooked the Jets. You know, I really think they were, you know, getting ready to go to London and this and that. But what has me is I don't think the Jets' defense is anywhere near what Baltimore's defense is. And the Jaguars' offensive line, I was reading an article earlier today, top 3. And they weren't just like 3. They were number 1. Their offensive line is actually head and shoulders above what I thought they were going to be. You know, with Leonard Fournette coming in there, he's just pounds. Nothing flashy. He hasn't had that breakout game yet to really say, hey, rookie, welcome to the NFL. But now he's, you know, I feel like, you know, he's averaging about 17.7 points per game. You know, the Jets are 26th against running back. I know they shut down Jay Ajayi, but I don't see that happening. I think this could be Fournette's, hey, you know, coming out party, basically, and kind of getting up there with Dalvin Cook and Kareem Hunt and all them guys.
This is this game that he really picks up.
I think he blows the top off. Yeah, I think, you know, we got...
You're talking like 150 and 2 touchdowns, something
no,
like that.
I'm not really leaning high on yardage. I think I have more Fournette maybe getting higher on the 2 touchdown, 3 touchdown end. I think maybe
close
about...
to 100.
Yeah, 3, 4. I'd say right about 97 yards. Okay. I think he gets rushing, but I think he's going to get in the end zone, you know, quite a bit.
2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times. I think he might even get a little bit more passing, you know, help and stuff and like that. And he's ranked number 9th on our list. However, I think I would move him up a couple slots just for me personally.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is our consensus list.
Absolutely.
You know, we're both higher, lower on guys.
So. Yeah, so I mean, I just think Fournette, you know, if you're playing him in daily, I think he's going to be a cheaper bet there for you going against the Jets. And chances are you probably got Fournette as your running back too. And let's say you hit maybe on a Bell or anybody along them lines.
Or you could have got
McCoy,
Fournette
Freeman,
and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, or anything like that. And
Really?
I mean, to be honest with you, I like Leonard Fournette this week, and I think he's going to put up pretty good numbers. But I don't think we're going to argue that. Obviously, he's in our top 10. He's in your starting lineup. You don't have to think about it. We're not going to spend too much time on it. So we're going to slide right over to Jason's.
Yeah, and my guy here is actually, we have him ranked at number 10, but he's number 4 on the season. That's Ty Montgomery.
Yeah.
I mean,
He looks good, too. That
looks-
whole Green Bay offense is clicking.
he looks really good. And the thing I love about him right now so far this season, he's getting crazy usage.
Yeah.
He's in almost every play. They're throwing the ball to him. They're handing the ball to him. I mean, they're trusting him in every situation.
And there's nobody there to take his job.
No.
He's not looking over his shoulder.
No, absolutely. I mean, he bulked up, and now he's getting the third down work. He's in the goal line. He's in there all the time, and he's getting the usage. And on that offense, I mean, stopping the run is not one of your main concerns. It's stopping Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him so effective.
And, man, them checkdowns to Montgomery, and he just takes it and rolls with it.
I mean, Rodgers is rolling out. He's escaping the sack like he does best, and he's just dumping it to Montgomery when he's peeling out of the backfield.
And I think a lot of people are kind of shocked. If you haven't really been paying attention and you kind of scroll through our rankings here and you see, a Ty Montgomery ranked 10th, you're kind of thinking, whoa, wait a minute, what? Ty Montgomery 10? But to be honest with you, it was hard for both of us to keep him out of the top 10. I know, when we were talking about it, I made the point to say, how do we not put Montgomery in the top 10?
Absolutely.
And
I mean, he's the number 4 running back overall so far.
We put him at 10.
They're playing the Bears.
Yeah, absolutely. There's points to be had in that matchup. Thursday night.
Yeah.
So, and we tend to stay away from it, but I think there's points to be had there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Thursday not always the best. We learned from last week, though, that it could be points there.
And it's another case that, if you drafted Ty Montgomery, chances are he wasn't your number 1 running back.
Right.
And if that's the case,
Right.
you're sitting pretty right now.
Unless you went wide receiver heavy and you took Ty as your number 1
And if that's the case, hopefully you hit on him.
Looking good. Because
Yeah.
you probably have a couple good receivers in front of him.
Yep.
At
Chances
least
are
3.
3-0.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
To stick in that same game, actually, I'm going to jump on my next guy, is Tariq Cohen. And I love this guy, man. He's
a real deal.
He's the Tyreek Hill of the running back position.
Yeah, I would even say he's the Tyreek Hill of 2017.
Yeah, I mean, holy smokes, this guy is he's a playmaker. I mean, he's continues to lead the Bears in receptions as a running back, and he's getting 10+ carries a game.
Let me ask you this, and this is kind of a crazy question here. Let's say somehow you ended up with the handcuff. You went Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. Is there a chance they could both start in your lineup?
Yeah.
There's enough balls to go around.
If you look at our rankings, I mean, we have them back-to-back at 13 and 14.
Yeah, which, hey, it's borderline running back 1 numbers in 12-team leagues.
Absolutely. And they both, and besides, not last week, but week 2, where Howard had the injury, they both have finished very close to each other, especially in their PPR league. Cohen is getting the catches, and he's getting the carries to go with it. I mean, he's the number 7 running back right now.
This is a
PPR scorer.
Yeah, this is a PPR rankings list.
Yes.
Most leagues are PPR, obviously.
I mean, ESPN switched their standard scoring to PPR.
Yeah, PPR is basically that's what this list is, and I would say we both agree that Tariq Cohen's stock goes down. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 spots. Because he's still got that home run potential. But I like Cohen. I mean,
I love him. I mean, I
missed out on the dynasty.
Yes, I did. I stupidly didn't start him last week. Correll's a great matchup against the Colts. That went really well. But I started him 2 weeks ago, after his big breakout week, and I went with him, man, and he did good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's giving you 12, 14 points a game.
And speaking of the Colts, that's actually where I'm going to go.
Tariq Cohen, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
He's that league winner type of pickup.
Yeah, the waiver wire ad. Championship.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if he keeps this up, he could finish as a top 12 running back off the waiver wire.
Absolutely, especially in PPR, 110%.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, back to basically Indy. That's where I'm going with my matchup, and that's Chris Carson. I think there's no questions anymore. It's his job in Seattle. Lacey is borderline droppable. I wouldn't even have Rawls.
borderline. I think Rawls and maybe you hold on the Rawls for one more week, but I think Lacey should have been dropped.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
It's Chris Carson's job. He's looked good. I mean, to be honest with you, and I think the more the season goes on, the offensive line's not that great.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris Carson you can kind of buy low on. I think the offensive line's going to get better as the year goes on. He's playing the Colts. The Colts are 20th against running backs, and like I said, it's pure volume. I think the Seattle is a better offense. They've showed it, last weekend against Tennessee when they get Carson the ball.
It is, and I think the offense still, the offensive line still has some meshing to do, and I think they're gonna get better as the year goes on. They're gonna mesh, and I mean that's one of the main things about an offensive line is chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Being on the same page, knowing what the guy next to you is doing, knowing what the guy next to him is doing.
Yep.
That's what makes a good offensive line, and I feel like they're gonna start doing that better. And you saw last week even, Russell Wilson took his game to the next level finally, and all that's gonna help Chris Carson. And once they get the pass game going, once they get Russell Wilson going, it's going to be Chris Carson. He's going to take the ball and just run with it.
Yeah.
Literally.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think, he's definitely a guy to buy low on now before he really takes off and has that good game. But I can see a lot of goal line work coming at. I think Carson finishes the year with 10+ touchdowns.
Absolutely. And let's not forget that we both sat here 2 weeks ago and said, get Chris Carson on your teams.
Yep.
Pick him up off of waivers. Put him on your bench.
Another one that could win you the week. I mean, running back position, it goes through. Let's say you lost David Johnson. If you were lucky enough to pick up Chris Carson, he's going to do just fine.
Yeah. And he's the type of guy, aside from Cohen, in any type of format.
Yeah.
And he's getting the volume.
Absolutely. And he
could finish, top 7.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to go a little different direction here with our next one. And it's not often that we're going to be on two different sides of the spectrums with kind of who are our lower picks. I know you picked a guy that you are kind of sick of, right? That was a high pick.
Yeah.
And I picked the guy that I would rather have there in that backfield.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to always stay positive. I don't want to sit here and pretend like all of our picks are always
Let's
right.
be honest with everyone here. The guy burned you, and you want to let him know that he burned you this year.
Yeah, I guess that's basically it.
Burned me too.
It's Isaiah Crowell. And I literally have, 5 leagues? And I have this guy in every single league except one. And he's killed me week 1 and week 2. And I waited. I was like, this Indianapolis game, this is the matchup.
Yeah.
I put him in. I started him over people I knew I should have.
Cohen.
Yeah, Cohen, Thielen, Chris Carson, who all had better weeks in them. And it was,
too bad you didn't have a Thielen. Get like a feeling.
I got it.
I
got a Thielen. Sing.
But Crowell, I got him in one league because Jason took him ahead of me in every other league, so I definitely got to say thank you for that.
Where's he ranked right now among running backs?
Who, Crowell?
Yes.
47th.
41.
41. Jeez. And then you got guys like Chris Thompson.
And Cohen. It's been horrible. Basically, my point is you drafted this guy probably in the 3rd or 4th round, and you pretty much need to get him on your bench and leave him there.
And wait, just because he has one good game.
Yes, don't drop him.
Pump the brakes, even if he has a good game. How many games is it going to take for Crowell to have a good game for you to have the trust to put him back in your lineup?
Probably 2 or 3. And it's still going to be matchup dependent.
Absolutely. I understand.
Unless I don't have another option, and then, this guy's not seeing my lineup. And they got to be good games. I'm not talking about he's going to rip off 85 and a touchdown against a sorry run defense.
Yeah. And I know you were stating that, earlier in the day that you were pondering a trade because you have him. You're looking to add a little bit more running back depth, like in Mike Gillislee. I know that was something that you pondered on the table, but you really didn't want to do because you have to give up a wide receiver to get Gillislee.
Yeah.
And you're kind of weak at wide receiver.
Yep.
But man, Crowell really kind of handcuffs you on that. And
he does.
And that's a standard scoring league,
It is,
right?
and I also have Carson in that league, so I'm not really tied to Crowell too much because I was able to pick up Chris Carson on waivers. And, but it's tough, man. Crowell's killing you, and you're not getting the value back from him if you try trading him. I mean, if you want to try to trade him and get something, then go ahead. But I think your best bet is just to sit on him.
Would you trade Isaiah Crowell for Brandon Marshall?
No.
No, just stay away from that whole situation.
Yeah, no.
I hear you.
No.
Well, let me ask you this. My guy, and I think we're both going to agree, is the better play this week, and maybe even going forward, is Duke Johnson. I mean, Duke Johnson's PPR guy. Crowell's obviously not putting up the points anyway, so you might as well take the catches. I think he has a safer floor than Crowell. And to be honest with you, what I really, really like is Cleveland's putting him in the slot. I mean, he only played 3 snaps less than Crowell because they're putting him in the slot.
And they talked about the preseason going to move in the slot.
And I like that, man. I really do. I kind of had a good inclination about Duke Johnson. I kind of talked myself out of it. He's one of them guys that kind of popped up, and I was like,
it's tough.
Every year they're calling for the Duke Johnson breakout, this and that, and I'm not a big fan of grabbing PPR, dependent backs. But I mean, this week in a sexy matchup, even maybe in a FanDuel DraftKings, I mean, Cincinnati's given up the 10th most receptions per game to a running back. So there's points to be had there for Duke Johnson. And I think we both agree we would feel better with Duke Johnson than Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah, I mean, Duke Johnson just kind of sprung onto the scene.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not expecting it. I mean, you're expecting something here and there, but he's really taken over. And, I mean,
I like the volume. If you're going to give Duke Johnson as many snaps as Crowell, he's going to do more with them.
Yeah.
And, Kaiser is, hey, it's right there. There's points to be had. I kind of like that. Just here going forward, and it's just, it kind of sucks because we had a lot of high hopes kind of for that offensive line and everything there. But going forward, I think you kind of got to pump the brakes and just stay away from it altogether. But if you're down as low as what do we got? We got Duke Johnson at 28, Crowell at 29. If you're down that low, I mean, I think it's safe to say if PPR league you go Duke, standard league you go Crowell if you have to.
If you have to, and I mean, I'm willing to start Duke and PPR in a flex position. I mean, I'm not even considering Crowell at this point, unless I absolutely have to.
No, I hear you, and I definitely agree. So we're going to take this over to our wide receivers here, keep the ball rolling right along, and I'm going to give you an obvious name that everybody knows, everybody's seen him pee in the end zone.
Everybody knows.
And that's Odell Beckham Jr.
ODB.
He's back, safe to say. You probably grabbed him with the first round pick. He's been pretty disappointed with that ankle, but he's back. I think, that offense seen a spark. They lost on that holy Hail Mary field goal, 61-yarder, which was phenomenal.
I'll tell you what, man, I was watching that game, I'm just like, wow, Beckham hasn't done nothing. Next thing you know, in the fourth quarter, he's got...
Boom!
Yeah, it's...
80-some yards, 2 touchdowns, and
that
catch that he made. I had an argument at work the other day who the most athletic wide receiver in the NFL is, and it's Odell Beckham, and I don't even think it's close. I mean, you could say Antonio Brown, you could say Mike Evans, you could say whoever you want, but I've never seen anybody catch a ball like Odell Beckham. I mean, come on, that dude is phenomenal. Anyways, I just want to touch on it.
Absolutely.
He's going up against Tampa Bay, which is the worst defense against the pass and wide receivers.
Yes, they're missing guys. They were supposed to have a good defense. They are missing a couple guys in that secondary, which is, can be exploited.
But you know who is healthy? Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
And that's scary. I mean, he's going to put up points. To be honest with you, I think he should be ranked number 1. But you were a little bit lower on him than I was. I think going forward here, Odell Beckham, he's in your lineup. Don't worry about the ankle. It's over that. And Jay, who you got? Because we don't need to tell him about Odell Beckham.
Yeah, I'm going DeAndre Hopkins. And I mean, I don't know how much you really need to say about Hopkins. Maybe because of his disappointing year last year. And, he's performed fairly well this year. He's a number 9 wide receiver coming into this week. And it's really Watson.
Yeah, he looked good.
I mean, he's running the ball. He's throwing the ball. I mean, he's peppering Hopkins with targets. And, I mean, the number one thing that New England does best is take away your best player. And if you're playing the Texans, their best player is Hopkins, and they were unable to do it. And I think it's just going forward. I mean, Watson's what rookies do best is lean on a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like they're their safety valve.
Safety valve, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they like that guy, and that's what he does. He's leaning on him hard. He's going to pepper him with targets, and that's when Hopkins thrives, is when he's getting hammered with targets.
Absolutely. I think the red zone's going to pick up as well. And I think every week Deshaun Watson's going to get better and better and better
I
and
love
better.
that guy. I really wanted to get him in Dynasty, man, but he went before I was able to. And
Yeah, I mean, I think Watson's the best quarterback in this class going forward, and especially right away. And then the more and more he plays, I mean, he's just a gamer. He really is. I mean, and I was really impressed watching the New England game and watching
absolutely.
Watson. I mean, he had some zip on the ball, and they should have won. Let's
He
face
played
it.
a hell of a game, and I mean, he would have been the first rookie to ever go into New England and win a game.
Yeah.
He was
I
that
mean, he
close.
was. It was good. I like when bless you.
Excuse me.
I'm only gonna say it one more time. Bless you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Talk about that New England man.
Yeah. God, just allergic. Allergic to cheaters. That's why I didn't like my ex. So that's cool. So basically, going forward here, now I just threw myself off, but bring up some repressed memories and stuff. But yeah, I mean, they look good going forward. I mean, especially going against New England, and Bill O'Brien's going to put him in a spot to succeed. Quarterback whisperer that he is. I like Hopkins going forward, and I think he's a mainstay in our top 10 for the rest of the year, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Just based on volume.
Yeah, I mean, it's one year. He's going to be your stud this year, and he's not going to give you disappointment. And I always thought, you know, he's somewhere in between where he was 2 years ago and last year. You know, he's not as good as he was 2 years ago when he killed it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's not as bad as he was last year when he sucked it up.
And I'll tell you what, just to kind of add on to that point here, you know, he's going up. Houston's playing against Tennessee. You know, there was points. You know, Doug Baldwin had a good game. I think that's a pretty good matchup there for him too, as well. And I think that has the potential to be a shootout.
Oh yeah.
So hey, you got to go with the points. You know, when you could get them.
Absolutely.
But rolling on down the list here, I'm going to go a little bit deeper with my guy. And I don't know why, you know, he's just kind of flies on the radar. But the Detroit Lions are having a pretty good year this year. Their defense is ranked number 1 in fantasy football. And to be honest with you know whose defense is not ranked number 1 when it comes to against opposing wide receivers? Besides, I mean, you can name basically every team.
Yeah, pretty much anybody.
But it's Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota, they got the corners. They got the defense. Mike Zimmer. You know what they're ranked against opposing wide receivers?
Good time.
31st.
Really?
Shocked me. Absolutely shocked me. And to be honest with you, I think if you attack Minnesota, your best bet is to attack them through the slot. I think Rhodes is going to be on Galladay or Marvin Jones. And I think Tate's going to...
I was going to say, you haven't named your guy you're talking about.
Golden Tate. I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
Yeah, Golden Tate's going to dink and dunk across the middle. I think he's going to get you 8-9 catches. And in PPR league, he's going to be perfect wide receiver too. I also think he gets in the end zone there for you. Good matchup, real juicy matchup. A lot of people might not know that Minnesota's really not. They're really not that dominant against wide receivers like they have been in the past. I'm sorry, you totally threw me off with that. And he's getting a lot of targets. You just take it because I'm done.
There's not much
Should walk out the side.
There's not much else to say. I mean, yeah, in Golden State, he's been their leading receiver. Besides 2 weeks last year, Marvin Jones ran away with it. And I think they're trying to get Marvin Jones involved. I just think Stafford's missing. I noticed a couple balls last week. He missed a few deep bombs. The week before that, he missed a couple bombs. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jones outscored Tate. But Tate is the PPR guy.
Yeah, he's the number 1 wide receiver in Detroit.
Yes.
He reminds me a lot of
And
Jarvis.
Galladay hasn't done anything since week 1.
Yeah, and I kind of think that he was going to fall off as well. But who do you got ranked a little bit lower down?
Yeah, I mean, you know, my guy's kind of building off one of my quarterbacks I was talking about was Sammy Watkins. And it's really kind of the same aspect. Jared Goff has found Sammy Watkins. You know, it's like a new meeting. Goff meet Watkins, Watkins meet Goff.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. And
it's not the Sammy Watkins in Buffalo. It's the number 4 overall pick, Sammy Watkins.
Yes.
Change of scenery, man.
Number 16 overall wide receiver so far, counting a bad week 1 and bad week 2.
Oh, he blew up. Absolutely.
He blew up. I mean,
How is he with the concussion? You think he's obviously going to play?
I think he's going to play this week. He's questionable right now. I think he's going to play. that's not an issue. I think, he got traded so late in the offseason, going into the season, that he didn't have a chance to build a rapport with Goff. He didn't have a chance to really work into the offense. And now that they got him there, McVay had some time to work with him, figure out how they're going to use him. Goff's got a rapport with him. The guy,
he's only going to get better.
He's only going to get better.
Same with Goff. The more that he's in the system, it's pretty much.
He probably had one of his best weeks of the year, just given 2 touchdowns.
That catch he had over the shoulder, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was like a center fielder catching the ball, running to the track or something. It was
Willie Mays.
Yeah,
that was good, man.
It was
sexy.
Beauty.
Yeah, that was nice.
But that's the type of stuff he can do.
Yeah, and that's the talent that everybody's seen. It's
exactly.
McVay's just scratching the surface.
Exactly.
And with the way that Todd Gurley's running the ball, you can't. He's gonna have to. You can't double team.
Are you gonna put 8 or 9 in the box, or are you gonna put 2 on Watkins?
Yeah.
You got to decide what you're gonna do.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm really liking what they're doing in LA with that offense. It's young, it's talented,
yes, absolutely,
and they got the young head coach, and we've seen it. He doesn't even worry about defense. He's just like Wade Phillips.
The defense is going on, and he's just over here talking to the offense, which is fine because that defense has been one of the best defenses in the league for the past few years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they have one of the number 1 NFL player according to Pro Football Focus, Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
He's the number 1 player in the NFL.
Not just at his position, in the entire NFL?
In the entire NFL, he was rated the number 1 NFL player last year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's why he was holding out.
Yeah,
he wants to get paid.
Can't blame him on that one, that's for sure. Especially the deal that Sue's got, so he need to give him his money.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
And
get
definitely.
Your money where you can.
I think you talked me into it. I think we get a Jared Goff jersey. Just to kind of prove he's
I wasn't trying to do that.
I know, but because the whole Jake Locker situation, I think I'm just going to get one just so we can kind of move past that. We need to.
Let's get you a Watkins.
Like I'm over my ex.
Get you a Sammy Buffalo jersey.
A Sammy Buffalo jersey? I don't think I could do that.
No.
That hurts my pride.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
But
I tried.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll a little bit later in our rankings here. I'm gonna go with. You're gonna call this a homer pick. I know you are, just because my love affair with Marcus Mariota, but it's Rishard Matthews. Don't get me wrong. I think Corey Davis is gonna take the number 1 role here going forward. However, he is not 100% healthy now, which leaves Matthews as the number 1 target. They are playing Houston, who pretty decent matchup. Houston's not as locked down. A lot of injuries at the cornerback position. Going forward here, I think Rishard Matthews is. He's startable. I think he's high upside of a wide receiver too. I think that's his ceiling. And I think he has a pretty safe floor to where he can, he's going to catch it 3, 4, 5 balls. He's the most trusted wide receiver there. I think Delaney Walker kind of steps it up too. And like I said, I think Mariota is just starting to get going here. Going forward, basically, he's gonna start being the guy that I said he was gonna be, and Matthews can reap the benefits from that. And where's Eric Decker?
Yeah.
Where'd Decker go?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. I absolutely love your pick. Rishard Matthews seems to be the forgotten guy every single year. It doesn't matter where he is or where he goes. Yeah. And he continues to produce. He continues to be that sneaky number 2 wide receiver that people are playing as a 4. He should be in your starting lineup every week.
Good playing daily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely your flex spot. I think he's a high-end flex spot, consideration every week. And they did it against Seattle. We're still, the verdict's kind of still out on Seattle's defense, whether they're great, whether they're not. I'm not really sure. But, hey, I don't know. Going against Houston, you've seen what
look where we got him. Just not to cut you off, where we got him ranked this week. Guys, Martavis Bryant.
He's
Sean
one behind
Jackson.
Michael Crabtree.
Yeah, Martavis Bryant, Deshaun Jackson, Terrell Pryor, Randall Cobb, Jeremy Maclin.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard. He should be in your lineup over these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I 110% agree with you there.
And maybe not week to week over Martavis Bryant, but this week on the road against Baltimore, yeah, I would play Matthews over Bryant.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand it. And here going forward, I mean, I think it's safe to say that Rashard Matthews might be somebody that you can add in your league, or maybe a sneaky trade.
Yeah.
Something like that. He's a guy that you can plug and play.
That guy, to just get that deal over the edge for you.
Yeah.
No, back and forth. Well, give me Matthews.
Throw on Matthews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and take advantage. I mean, if there's somebody in your league, I mean, we got one guy in our league who, well, he doesn't have Matthews, but he kind of give you whoever you want. He don't care. So if you kind of can do that and you could pull, Matthews out of it, he's pretty good. Good enough play. I mean,
absolutely.
Kind of like your guy, though. Kind of like your guy.
Yeah, and I'm going here with Willie Snead. Got the need for Snead.
I think you should trademark that.
Like that?
Need for Snead.
Got the need for Snead.
Yeah. Go with it. Hashtag.
I like it. Hashtag need for Snead. But I mean, look, this is his first week back from suspension. Honestly, I really don't know what kind of numbers of plays he's going to be on the field. I don't know how many plays he's going to be on the field. But they need a number 2 wide receiver in New Orleans to step up. Because Michael Thomas hasn't been performing up to par.
Did last week.
He did last week, but
before that, no, I agree.
Basically, because they don't have a number 2, they don't have somebody to take the pressure off of him. They can double him. They can put him man to man, put a guy over the top. They can do all this stuff they need to lock him down. Because as much as I like Tim Ginn, he has not been getting it done. He's been dropping balls, and he's just not getting it done.
Speaking of that, you said dropping balls, and I have to bring up this point. Amari Cooper, man, what are you doing? What is he doing?
He's dropping them like it's hot.
I mean...
Dropping like it's hot.
Jeez, man, if he just catches... I'm going to go back to week 1 because it still frustrates me. He had 3 opportunities to catch the ball in the end zone. 3. All 3 hit his hands. He dropped all 3 of them. All 3. Continue. Sorry.
I don't know how to top that, but...
I mean, he's going up against Miami. If you're going to attack Miami, it's
going against Miami. I mean, I could easily see him not really being paid attention to because he hasn't been on the team the past 3 weeks, and they're watching film from this season. Where's Willie Snead? Snead's on the sideline. Well, here comes Snead off the sideline, going down, scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, I could see him getting like 8 catches across the middle and bouncing back and forth. Yeah. I mean, it happens every time. Every time we watch a Dolphins game, you can dink and duck your entire way down the field. Yeah. Breeze is going to pick them apart.
And I love him going forward. Like I said, I think he's going to be the number 2. I think they need a number 2. And, I mean, he could easily put up, and this might be hard now he missed 3 games, but let's say we extrapolate over the whole season. It would equal something like 1,000+ yards.
Yeah, and I think he's up there about 80 catches.
6-7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
80, yeah.
And to be honest with you, the report's been there before with Breeze and Snead.
Absolutely. So and that's with Cooks in town. Now Cooks is gone, and he's going to...
Sneaky waiver wire ad if you can kind of buck the trend, get in front of it.
If he's still there, if he's not there, try to, make that trade.
Yeah.
Try to make that trade before it's too late. Trade prior.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. You know what this is?
No idea what you're doing.
My hands are up. Hold on.
I'm waving them like you just don't care.
Checking something here real quick. This is my safety belt. Because I am on the Travis Kelce roller coaster.
Ooh.
That is tough. Okay, we're going down, we're going up, we're going around. And to be honest with you, we went down last week. So once you go down, when you're on a roller coaster, what's going to happen next? You're going to...
Upside down.
Go up. Travis Kelce is going to be the number 1 tight end. Trademark it right now. That's all I got to say. He's going up against Washington. I think, Alex Smith's going to get his primetime game. We both love Alex Smith. They're 25th against the tight end. Hop on the trend. They're going to get Kelce more involved, especially in primetime. Don't worry about last week. Don't worry about week 1. Travis Kelce is going to be the most reliable tight end, I think, week in, week out. And I think he's going to go on a roll starting this week.
I was going to say, it's kind of weird for a guy like Kelce because of his targets. Usually he's one of the most reliable tight ends, or most consistent tight ends in the league because of he's a target monster and he's getting those targets and he's getting the yards. So
I actually think it works out better because Alex Smith is spreading the ball around and they have more targets. I think it actually works in Kelsey's favor. Eventually, you're going to say, hey, we can't guard Kelsey like we used to be able to in the past.
Yeah.
And, all that attention is going to go to Kareem Hunt. And Kelsey's going to be right there reaping the benefits, baby. Some play actions down the seam. Oh, I love it this week.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just jumping into my guy here, is Jimmy Graham. I mean, I'm kind of...
He kind of burned you the first 2 weeks.
He burned me, I was loving him and I was on the fence, and I mean they got it going. Finally, Seattle's offense did, and I mean, but they've always been slow starting. They've always been a team to figure it out after a few weeks, and I don't think you're gonna see Russell Wilson do what he did last week very often, but I can see them come close to that. I can see them starting to feed Jimmy Graham a little more. And I mean, is it a coincidence that their offense got off the ground when Jimmy Graham had a good game?
Yeah.
Or is it not?
They found something.
I mean, he's a monster, man. You got to give him the ball. They didn't give him targets.
And we were both high on Jimmy Graham coming into the year.
Yeah.
And I think it's just due time. I mean, Russell Wilson always is a slow starter.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to give you besides Jimmy Graham is a monster. The Seattle offense looks like it's figuring it out, and they're going to feed him the ball when they can.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't bench him yet.
Yeah,
especially after last week when he scored some points.
Don't panic for like a Jesse James or somebody who's got like a really good matchup. Stay with Jimmy Graham. Stay the course. We got him ranked number 3. I still don't remember how you talked me into putting Graham ahead of Kelsey. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, they're playing the Colts.
Oh, that might be why. But I'll tell you what, another guy who I think has actually a sneaky good matchup that on paper you're going to be like, he doesn't. This is Jared Cook going up against Denver.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Denver is 26th against opposing tight ends?
I don't know that, but I was playing along, but I do know they are, even last year, going back, that they are bad against tight ends.
Well, let's put it like this. This is my thought process. Now, this is me going out completely on a whim. I don't have any sport or stats to support this or anything along them lines. I think that Cook is going to be the top target getter, and the reason is because you have Talib and you have Chris Harris are going to shut down the drop master himself, Amari Cooper, and Michael Crabtree. I think they're going to focus on the wideouts. I think it's going to give Jared Cook a lot of receptions, a lot of gravy, a lot of volume. I don't think he gets in the end zone. I really think that Oakland's kind of offensive slide continues a little bit, but I think he's going to get you 6-7 catches for about 70 yards, and we'll take 14 points out of our tight end every day of the week.
Yeah, all day, every day.
And especially being ranked down. I mean, he's ranked 9th on our list. Depending on who we are, he could easily went from 9th to 16th.
I'll take it.
So definitely. I mean, I know you kind of got a sneaky tight end player too.
No, I don't actually. And this is kind of I'm hopping on the roller coaster with you. It's Hunter Henry.
That's a sneaky play.
I'm putting Hunter Henry in here for a different reason, maybe, and that is to get him out of your lineup.
What?
Yes.
Oh, I disagree.
2 out of 3 weeks with 0 targets.
Yeah, but
How do you play a guy?
But that matchup is so sexy, man.
So were his other ones weren't bad matchups.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
I mean, I don't know what they're doing in Los Angeles.
But
I almost said San Diego.
If you're on the roller coaster, this is the week where or you think that they just fall off like a guy in the
I don't know. I mean, I need somebody I can count on because I don't know.
So let me ask you this.
There's a Jack Doyle.
I'm going to rifle off a couple guys. You tell me if you would start him over Hunter Henry.
Do it.
Let's say Jordan Reed does not play. Do you start Vernon Davis over Hunter Henry?
Absolutely.
Ben Watson.
Yes.
Cameron Brate.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to hammer you on this one. Zach Miller.
That's tough. Probably not.
So basically right where our ranking suggests. But you would play Jared Cook over Hunter Henry?
I mean, based on what you said, yeah. I mean, I don't like that play. I don't mind that play at all.
What, Evan Ingram?
Yes, I love him.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I kind of was feeling maybe Hunter Henry in
I mean, it's
like a
tough.
FanDuel daily.
Yeah, if you're looking for the high upside, because I think he has that high upside, but at the same time, how do you count on him?
Well, let me ask you this.
Because he could walk away with 0 catches again.
Absolutely. But let me ask you this. If we're down this far on the tight end list and you're into tight end 2, I mean, there's not going to be too many people down here that have as high of upside as Hunter Henry does.
No, exactly. And I mean, aside from Vernon Davis,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody else that has that same upside. I mean, Jesse James, if he wants to score 2 touchdowns again.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't think these guys can score 2 touchdowns any week.
Absolutely.
That's just the volatility of the tight end position.
Mm-hmm. And let's say you're a little bit later down, and you're kind of just throwing a dart this week for. Well, let's say you had Jordan Reed, you had Tyler Eifert. I'm asking because I'm in this situation. If you're throwing a dart, who do you like?
Absolutely. Actually, speaking of the devil, is my guy Vernon Davis.
There you go.
And he needs to be in your lineup if Jordan Reed is out.
If Jordan Reed is playing, is he even worth a roster spot? If you're not a Jordan Reed or owner.
Probably no, probably not. But at the same time, yeah, because when Jordan Reed's out, he's probably going to be a top 10 tight end. So, I mean, he might be better than the other options, but I don't see why they're not playing Vernon Davis anyways, because he's more reliable than Jordan Reed. And it seems like he's just as productive. I mean, the guy is, he's reliable, and he's making plays, he's scoring points.
If you're down this low, I would safe to say he would be higher on our rankings if we knew that Jordan Reed wasn't playing.
Absolutely.
And I could argue saying that Vernon Davis slides right into Jordan Reed's spot.
Number 11 overall spot, yes.
Absolutely. So I think we're going with the Washington Redskins tight end at 11 opposed to Vernon Davis.
Yes.
So I get you on that. I agree with you on
And the
that.
same with Jordan Reed would be higher if we knew he was playing.
Absolutely.
Because when he's healthy, he's a top 5 tight end.
And it's a Monday night matchup, so you definitely want to be careful about that. Make sure you have a backup just in case.
Yeah. Pick up Vernon Davis. I'm sure he's
That's
available.
the only one that you're going to have unless you want to play Harris from Kansas City. I'm sure Kelsey's not available on your waiver wire. And if you have that decision between Reed and Kelsey, you're putting Kelsey in your lineup anyways, and you're not sweating it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. And it's actually kind of real deep. It's a guy that I beat you to in Dynasty. Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
My man, ASJ.
I watched the Dolphins game, and let me tell you what. I was very disappointed. But if I watched anything, if I learned anything from that Dolphins game, it's the fact that Austin Seferian-Jenkins is going to get a lot of catches, a lot of targets. He led the team in targets. He's over the middle. They're playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville has some 2 great corners. They're going to get Seferian-Jenkins involved. I don't think he blows it up. I don't think he has a huge game. But if you're down this low, I can see him getting 4 or 5 catches for maybe 30, 40 yards, and you would take that out of this.
That's what he just got. I think it was 4 catches for 30-some yards, wasn't it?
5 catches, 31 yards.
Yeah, I think he had 6 or 7 targets. So,
Yep.
That's his first game back.
Yeah, definitely.
So I could definitely see him building on
And
that.
there were questions with his not durability, conditioning.
Yeah.
And I know Todd Bowles was kind of saying, we'd like to get him a little bit better shape.
He
And
didn't play at all last year.
Yep.
He practiced this offseason, but he hasn't played any games yet.
And I definitely noticed him sucking wind, here and there.
Mhm.
I think he's going to get his, legs underneath him. I think he would be a valuable option here going forward. And then, to be honest with you, though, that's going to take me into my defensive stream of the week.
Oh.
And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Let's be honest. The Jacksonville Jaguars are just phenomenal. What they did to the Ravens, I don't even know if I should say this, but I started Joe Flacco last week.
The Jaguars, they've been a solid defense all year.
I know, but man.
They've been good.
You know what their rank is?
Their secondary might be one of the best secondaries in the game right
Absolutely. And they're getting pressure on the ball.
Yes.
They're playing the Jets. Everything is there for the Jaguars. They're the second best defense in the league. The Lions are number 1. They're right there. They should be picked up. They should be owned in every league.
Absolutely.
And they should be starting in your lineup.
Yes.
It's not even close. And I would put them as my number 1 defense in daily, every league I'm in.
now. Only reason why they're not number 1 is because you have Seahawks, who is a perennial top 3 defense against one of the worst offenses this week. Only reason why the Jags aren't number 1 defense for us.
Gotcha. Well, give me a stream of the week. Who you got?
Yeah, and I'm rolling with the Falcons. I'm playing against the Bills, and it's pretty simple to me. I can definitely see the Falcons with Tyrod's running.
Home.
They could easily see them getting a couple sacks. possibly a couple interceptions. Maybe one of those interceptions turned into a pick six. I mean, the opportunity for points scored for that defense is there.
Absolutely.
And I don't think there's any debating that. And as far down, I mean, they might not be owned in 50% of the leagues where you can pick them up and start them if you do have a bad matchup with one of your other defenses.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you on that. I think it's going to be a shootout. Buffalo's going to have to throw. You put the ball in Tyrod's hand to make decisions, he's going to turn it over.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
He's going to make a couple bad decisions. He's going to try running with it, which he'll get his runs and his yardage in, but he'll also take a few sacks.
Yeah, and maybe even turn the ball over.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, right before we end the show, I want to touch on something that is, I kind of seen more prevalent this week by, just looking at people's rosters and this and that. And it's the guy that I work with who's had Tom Brady with 50 points and lost.
Yeah.
If your quarterback puts up 50 points in a 6-point passing touchdown league, you should never lose. I mean, your regular roster should be good enough to where you can get through. I mean, he even played Chris Thompson. He had Tom Brady and Chris Thompson.
I had Tom Brady in our dynasty league, and he won it for me.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I mean, the rest of my team was good enough.
And
get me there.
What I want to go through here is that's why you shouldn't draft a quarterback early, because you're gutting yourself depth. And he had David Johnson. David Johnson went down, and then he really has nothing left. I know he's got like J.J. Nelson. He's just picking up flyers here and there and just throwing them into the lineups and hoping they stick. And to be honest with you, it really hurt him. The guy that won had 118 points, and that's not a lot in the format that we have. So please, depth. Go with depth. Build your running back, wide receivers. Go out and trade for Rashard Matthews or a Duke Johnson, Chris Carson. Play that waiver wire. Pick up Buck Allen. Guys like that. And I think that's the one thing that us here at J&J are going to tell you. That's how you're going to win your championship, is be active on the waiver wire.
You don't win your league at the draft.
No, but you put yourself in a pretty good position.
Yes.
So, I mean, the draft is very important. I know I waited too long on a quarterback in one league, and I got stuck, and I'm really kind of hurting for it now because I don't want to trade away my depth.
Yeah, I mean, to build on that point, you don't win it at the draft, but you can lose it.
Yes, absolutely. And now, obviously, injuries happen. Nobody can predict that.
Yes.
But be on the waiver wire. Just because you don't have a needed running back
That's where you win your leagues.
Yeah, I mean, you might not have a needed running back now, but hey, Todd Gurley goes down. Le'Veon Bell goes down. Somebody goes down. You're going to need that spot. Go out and grab them.
Yeah.
Make trades. If you're strong at one position, trade away. I mean, you have Jared Goff. We gave you plenty of options here going forward of guys that you can pick up for a backup quarterback spot. If you have that, maybe you have two. Maybe you have, maybe a Brady and a Stafford, or maybe a Mariota and Matt Ryan, or somebody like that.
I feel like I'm in fantasy football church right now.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Absolutely. So
preach it, brother.
Let us be your savior, that's for sure. Like I said, my name is Joey from J&J Fantasy Flyers.
And I'm Jason, and we're helping you soar above the competition.
Check us out on Facebook at J&J Fantasy Flyers or on Twitter
at Fantasy Flyers.
Also, our website is up and running. Our Contact Us page is working phenomenal. Definitely had a lot of emails, roster questions. We definitely let you know. And also stay tuned for our Sunday Sleepers editions that will be posted on Facebook. Link right to our website. And we'd love to hear from you. Send us in your lineups, your matchups. And, hey, we want to hear from you. And, we'll put your questions on the air.
Absolutely. Good luck in your Week 4 matchups.
Absolutely.